things we should not be eating. Eliminating processed foods.
Oh, forget that.
Why?
Because people know that. They know that.
It's important to talk about. Those processed foods, all the foods that you mentioned before with such disdain, like even white flour is a processed food.
White flour is like cocaine. White flour is the same as sugar. And I don't even consider them food. I don't consider this stuff food. I call it doof. Food spelled backwards is doof. And you're a doof if you think these things that are self-destructive. So don't eat self-destructive foods. Duh. You don't drink alcohol. Don't snort cocaine.
But it's not always easy in this world. You have to admit that.
No, everybody's doing it, but because everybody drinks alcohol, and everybody eats white flour and pizza, and everybody eats fried foods like French fries. It doesn't make it less harmful because everybody's doing it. It just makes it socially acceptable and hard for people not to do it.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's not food, because food gives us sustenance to improve health and produce life. And these foods suck life out of the body and produce death because they don't have nutrients in them. So you give calories with no nutrients, sucks micronutrients out of the body. Building micronutrients is anti-aging, sucking nutrients out is aging us. So it's like they're not even food. They're just self-destructive, addictive substances.
I like calling them frankenfood because it's kind of like a failed experiment, something that makes you, something highly addictive that is harming you.
Yeah.
And you just have to realize there's certain foods out there. And I'm with you. When I look at like really fried foods, I'm like, that's not food. And that's not something I want to put in this body. So
yeah, I'm trying to heighten the feeling of disgust. So people look at these foods, no longer see them as attractive.
You want them to share your disgust.
Yes. So this is disgusting. Yeah. It's not food, so they're not tempted by it, But
it's true. Like you have the choice to choose, I always say health promoting foods or health destroying foods. So it's like, why not choose the stuff that really can taste amazing, does taste amazing. Like I even love just fresh snap peas. I think it's so tasty. Yeah. And let your taste buds retrain. You got it. But I do think I make this mistake. I have let white flour seep into various aspects of my diet when I'm out, that, where I'm really trying to stick to my guns, have it be whole wheat, whole grain, like seed-based, healthier flour, which that to me is tough.
To just eat Ezekiel bread.
Yeah.
Or to eat manna bread.
Right. I'm buying Ezekiel right now. So that's what I'm doing. I'm making sure I'm not tempted for other stuff, even like whole wheat tortillas, or like I'm only using corn tortillas now when I'm making anything Mexican. Like that's been definitely something on my radar this month. Yeah.
Well, the main reason people go after these foods, they know they're bad for them. They're not thinking about them, but like white flour, like pizza, like a bagel, like a chocolate chip cookie, like a French fries, why they want these foods is because they're addicting.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it. They're addicting because they affect the brain and they change brain structure and function. And they lead to, obviously, you lose your memory, you lose your intelligence, you lose your health as the time goes on, and they take away your life. But the attraction is so strong to somebody that eats them regularly. It's so powerful to want that stuff. And the only way you could stop that want is by staying away from it.
Right. You talk about that a lot.
You stop wanting it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, food addiction's real, as you say. Okay. So next. I'll say it.
You got to say them. Yeah.
You could take the next half. We are here, so you should be making greens the star of your plate.
Yeah, right.
So you always tell people, not only do you want a green vegetable with every meal, so you're doing salad for lunch so that, let's talk about dinner, your entree. You want greens to be the star of the show. So make that portion of steamed greens, maybe with some garlic salt or nutritional yeast on top, the biggest portion on your plate.
Right. I don't want to call it garlic salt. It's crushed garlic. It's dehydrated. Because some people, there's garlic salt out there that has salt in garlic.
That's true.
I don't get confused with that.
That's true.
It's just ground garlic. That's all.
Ground garlic. Okay.
Yeah, ground garlic.
Fair enough.
But I made a giant pot of broccoli the other night. And a couple of days before, I made a giant pot of steamed artichokes. And I have in my refrigerator, like the crock pots of soybeans and beans. And I have, so I make it easy so I can have on my plate. If I don't have some pre-made broccoli or pre-made artichokes or pre-made zucchini, I'll pull some box of frozen broccoli out of the freezer or something.
Yeah.
So I have it made so even when I had my salad for lunch, I put some cooked broccoli on top of the salad. I didn't have soup today. I just had some cooked vegetables on top of the salad, cooked broccoli on top of the salad. And if there was no soup, I had the beans on top. And last night I had the mushroom stroganoff added to the big broccoli I had, and I ate some artichokes.
I love that.
But I had the mushroom stroganoff with that. So in other words, whatever's on the plate, a bean burger, sweet potato, spaghetti squash, some kind of mixed. We're always, everything we serve is not as big a portion as a serving of greens. So as you divide up your plate in the amount of volume of space you're taking up on your plate, the greens should occupy the biggest portion of your plate. And that's easily for lunch with the big salad. That's all green stuff. And really put some, but certainly for dinner, when your dinner is more cooked and less raw, because you're not having most people have the salad for lunch and the cooked food for dinner. So when you're having or it could be the other way around, but when you're having a plate of cooked food now at dinner, most of your plate should be green vegetables. Mm-hmm. That's a very important point here.
Right. Okay, cool.
Because green vegetables are the foods that are most correlated with the longest lifespan. People who eat the most greens have the lowest risk of cancer. People who eat the most greens have the lowest chance of heart attack and the most youthful blood vessels and elasticity. And people who eat the most greens, of course, are linked to the highest chance of living to be a healthy centenarian, living a longer lifespan. So the cooked vegetables enhance the amount of green vegetables we're able to consume in a day, and it helps keep our volume and calorie count from green vegetables high enough to get that full lifespan protection.
So I was in my own head a little bit thinking about how I say for dinner, like last night I had lentil soup. So it was like a lentil soup. And I think I put some greens in there, but it was mainly lentils, mushrooms. I had like diced tomatoes and it was kind of that situation. I just had that for dinner though. I don't think I had any, I think there was like spinach or a little bit of kale in there, but it wasn't like the star of my show by any means.
Yeah. So now I would say, okay, do you have any string beans to add with that? Do you have a steamed zucchini you can add with that?
Right.
You have an artichoke heart you can add to that? You have a piece of broccoli you can add to that?
Eat it on the side. Yeah.
Eat some extra greens on the side.
Yeah.
Make your meals complete.
Right.
So we're trying to get that bean, green, nut and seed, fruit with every meal is unique to the Nutritarian diet, right? Because this is what we're describing is this is how you make yourself a Nutritarian. These are Nutritarian principles, right? That other people aren't doing. Yeah. They're just eating like quinoa or rice with some peas and tomato, and that's it. They don't think of eating some nuts or some beans with it or some greens with it. Yeah. Right? Or some salad every day. They're eating plant-based.
Look at you pushing me to be better.
As a plant-based is the best, It's just, it's not the best. You got to take it to the next level, and we know why you have to take it to the next level. Right? Because people have abused their bodies so bad. We have so many toxins in the environment. We've got to bring our health that we can control to the net level of excellence to be, to get the full benefits.
This is where you always say that you didn't just create a diet, you used science to create the best diet. So
right. It's not a blue zone diet. It's not a plant-based diet. We're doing a Nutritarian diet. It takes it to the next level of nutritional excellence to get more benefit. Mm-hmm. And we need more benefit in today's world.